d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Guinea-Bissau. West Africa Democracy Radio, in partnership with the National Endowment for Democracy, NED, brings together leading actors to scrutinize the democratic issues of the moment. Don't miss it. Every last Saturday of the month, tune in to 94.9 FM for the monthly debate on democracy and the special program on democracy, governance,
WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's midday in Dakar, 1 p.m. in Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and worldwide on wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. Terrorists kill at least 19 people, including soldiers, on the Togolese border with Burkina Faso. Senegal lost over $3 billion from illegal export of gold, according to a Swiss NGO. The death toll from a boat accident in Nigeria's north-central state of Niger rises to 60 as search efforts continue. And Ghana records its first case of Mpox.
The Ghana Health Service says it has heightened surveillance nationwide, issued alerts to all regions, and enhanced the sensitization of healthcare workers.
Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Abdullahi Hassan with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast and welcome to our listeners in the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. We'll begin in Togo, where a new armed incursion has taken place in the northern region. Some 20 deaths were recorded, including civilians and soldiers. The attack targeted a patrol team on the Togolese border with Burkina Faso. Augustine Coley has more.
The attack took place on Tuesday night in the town of Fawogu in northern Togo. It targeted Togolese soldiers on patrol along the border with Burkina Faso. A total of 19 people were killed, including 9 soldiers and 10 civilians. According to eyewitness accounts, there was first an explosion and then an exchange of gunfire. They further disclosed that the targeted soldiers were ambushed while on patrol to monitor the construction of sites designed to prevent the incursion of armed groups into the country. This is an initiative launched by the Togolese authorities last year. The civilians killed in the attack were mainly employees of the Ibomav group, which was responsible for digging the trenches. Several items of property were also damaged. A bulldozer and 5 diggers were set on fire by the attackers. The Togolese army deployed helicopters as reinforcements to secure the scene of the attack. Last August, clashes took place in this area. At that time, 1 person was killed and another wounded.
Augustine Coley with that report. In a related story, 2 civilians have been killed in Karimama, a commune in northern Benin. The attack was carried out by unidentified armed men on the night of Thursday to Friday morning in the Brini Lafia district, a border area with Niger and Burkina Faso. The Beninese media outlet Banoto reported that the victims, believed to be couples, had their throats slit by the attackers. Meanwhile, another media outlet reported in its Friday publication that at least 12 people were killed in the same attack. The government has yet to issue any statement on the incident, which comes barely a week after a recent incident in the same region that cumulatively killed more than 10 people, including police officers. Karimama, located on the borderline with Burkina Faso, has since the start of the year seen a surge in terrorist violence and activities attributed to affiliated terrorist groups. Here in Senegal, a new report has revealed that the country lost about 40 tons of gold due to clandestine exports between 2013 and 2022. The latest report from a Swiss NGO indicated that on average, 4 tons of gold leave Senegal territory illegally every year. According to the document, the clandestine export of gold over the last 10 years has reached a significant proportion, causing the country to lose several billions of CFA francs. Here is Ogebirika with the rest of the details.
According to this report published on Thursday, between 2013 and 2022, 41 tons of gold were secretly exported from Senegal. Its value is estimated at nearly $3 billion. According to the report, this amount of illegally exported gold comes mainly from artisanal mining. The gold passes through Mali before ending up in the United Arab Emirates. The report continues that the proximity of the Kédougou region in Senegal to the Malian border facilitates transactions. Independent buyers on the other side of the border offer more attractive prices than counters approved by the Senegalese state. The document states that only 10% of artisanal gold passes through official channels. The Swiss NGO that authored the report calls on the Senegalese authorities to better regulate artisanal gold mining. It also recommends reducing export taxes. These measures could make buying counters more competitive and limit the flow of clandestine gold to neighboring countries. The NGO points that although official gold exports have increased significantly, artisanal extraction remains significant. In 2022, industrial gold production per year in Senegal reached nearly 15 tons. On the other hand, nearly 5 tons of gold are produced per year by the artisanal sector.
Ogebirika with that report.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
We're live on WADR.org and on Facebook, WADR English Service. Nigeria's Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris Malagi, has announced the country's renewed commitment to stabilizing the Sahel region through enhanced engagement with neighboring countries and international partners. Speaking at the news agency of Nigeria's annual lecture on Thursday, Malagi emphasized Nigeria's determination to address the insecurity plaguing the region. From Abuja, Usman Umar reports.
The Sahel region has long been vulnerable to terrorism, banditry, and other security threats, posing significant challenges to regional stability. As Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria shares a lengthy and porous border with several Sahel countries, increasing its security vulnerability. However, Malagi assured that Nigeria is strengthening its role in the multinational joint task force and investing in equipment and manpower to combat these threats.
Since his assumption of office 16 months ago, 12 aircraft have been acquired to boost the fighting capacity of our armed forces, amongst other investments in the sector. By understanding the root causes and evaluating the impact on our territorial integrity and implementing strategic policy measures, we can effectively address the challenges posed by this crisis.
Experts note that stabilization efforts in the Sahel must address internal displacement, which has been exacerbated by conflict and insecurity. The European Union has also emphasized the need for comprehensive approach, integrating security and development to enable economic growth and poverty reduction in the region. Nigeria's renewed commitment comes amid growing concerns about regional stability, particularly following the withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The creation of the Alliance of Sahel States, a mutual defense pact between these countries, has further highlighted the need for cooperative regional security initiatives. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
Meanwhile, a devastating boat accident in north-central Nigeria has claimed at least 60 lives, authorities have confirmed. The tragedy occurred on the Gbajibo River in Mokwa local government area of Niger State, where a vessel carrying 300 people capsized on its way to an annual Maulud celebration. Imoradet completes the story.
Abubakar Dakani, press secretary to the council chairman, announced that 60 bodies have been recovered so far. 10 survivors have been rescued, while rescue efforts continue in collaboration with the State Emergency Management Agency and local communities. This latest disaster echoes a similar incident in September 2023 when 24 people drowned after a boat carrying over 50 passengers capsized. The Nigerian government has faced mounting pressure to improve water transportation safety following a series of deadly boat incidents in recent years. An investigation into the cause of the incident is expected as the nation mourns this latest tragedy.
Immediate with that report and away from Nigeria to Ghana, the Catholic Church of the Accra Archdiocese, in collaboration with the Conference of Major Superiors of Religious in Ghana, has scheduled a large-scale prayer protest for next week. This initiative seeks to rally Ghanaians from all walks of life to unite in bold prayer and action to end the devastation caused by illegal mining in the country, commonly referred to as Galamsey. The protest, scheduled for Friday, October 11, is expected to draw support from over 50 organizations that have already voiced concerns over the environmental menace combined in prayer with public demonstration. In a statement, the organizers emphasized the spiritual dimension of the fight against illegal mining, urging citizens to call on God to do what they cannot do as humans to intervene in this Galamsey fight. The event will culminate in the presentation of petitions to key national figures, including President Nana Akufo-Addo, Speaker of Parliament Agban Bangbin, and Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono. Health authorities in Ghana have confirmed the country's first case of mpox in the year 2024. The Ghana Health Service, GHS, issued a statement on Thursday, October 3, revealing that the National Public Health and Reference Laboratory identified the case from a young male patient in the northwestern region. This follows a global rise in cases, with the World Health Organization (WHO) and the Africa CDC declaring mpox a public health emergency. WEDA's Nadri Tete reports.
The Ghana Health Service has confirmed a case of mpox in a young male patient from the Western North region of the country. In a statement, the Ghana Health Service disclosed that the patient presented with symptoms including fever, rash, and general body pain, prompting medical staff to send samples to the National Health and Reference Laboratory. The case was confirmed on Tuesday, 1st October 2024. The Ghana Health Service noted that the patient was isolated according to mpox management protocols and has since been discharged in stable condition. Additionally, 25 contacts of the patient have been identified and are currently being monitored. This case is Ghana's first mpox infection of 2024. The Ghana Health Service stated that 120 cases were recorded in 2022 and 8 cases in 2023. The latest confirmation follows earlier declarations by the Africa CDC and the World Health Organization, which both listed mpox as a public health emergency. In response, the Ghana Health Service says it has heightened surveillance nationwide, issued alerts to all regions, and enhanced the sensitization of healthcare workers. The service further disclosed that personal protective equipment is being mobilized with enhanced contact tracing and activation of public emergency committees at various levels. The Ghana Health Service further reassured the public that the country's health system has the capacity to manage the mpox outbreak and urged the public to report any suspected symptoms to the nearest health facility for investigation and appropriate management. For WEDR, Nadidi Tete, Accra.
And just before the break, the European Union (EU) plans to provide funding of over €1 million to Liberia. This announcement was made during the visit of Liberia's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sarah Baselonianti, to the organization's headquarters in Belgium. The funds are intended to support the country's budget and strengthen public-private partnerships. More details with Ichatisu.
In Brussels, Liberia's Minister of Foreign Affairs had a busy schedule. She held meetings with high-ranking European officials, including the Commissioner for International Partnerships. These diplomatic meetings have allowed Liberia to strengthen its relations with the European Union. The EU will disburse €108 million to support Liberia's budget and the development of public-private partnerships. These funds will also help the country combat gender-based violence. During a visit to the European Parliament, the Liberian Minister of Foreign Affairs also promoted Liberia's candidacy for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. She requested the EU support. As a reminder, the European Union supports development actions in Liberia by funding several projects, including infrastructure, education, maritime security, and democratic participation. Liberian civil society also hopes that the European Union will assist the country in establishing courts for war and financial crimes. The country has been seeking funds for several months following the official creation of these courts.
H.A. Atisu with that report. You are listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and live on wadr.org. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Terrorists kill at least 19 people, including soldiers, on the Togolese border with Burkina Faso. Senegalese state lost over $3 trillion from illegal export of gold, according to a Swiss NGO. The death toll from a boat accident in Nigeria's north-central region rises to 60 as such efforts continue. Ghana records its first case of mpox in 2024. Still ahead in the news, we have the guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Many thanks for staying on. Let's bring you more on health-related news, as cholera, according to the Togolese government, remains a major public health issue. The country has recorded several deaths following a cholera outbreak. Health authorities have also announced several measures to combat the disease. Christopher Ticho has the rest of the details.
According to the Togolese Ministry of Health, 4 people have died in Lomé, the capital, due to a cholera outbreak. Since August, several cholera cases have been treated in the Gulf Health District of Lomé. To address the case, the Togolese Minister of Health has announced several measures, including free treatment of cholera cases in public hospitals and free distribution of chlorine, commonly used to treat contaminated water. The Minister of Health also announced the strengthening of alert systems for early case detection, the disinfection of affected sites and localities, and increased awareness of preventive measures. The Ministry of Health urged the public to remain vigilant and adopt responsible behavior to avoid contracting the disease. Citizens are advised to drink clean water or disinfect water before drinking. Other measures include washing hands properly with clean water and soap, especially after using the toilet and before eating, and washing fruits and vegetables thoroughly before consumption. The population is also encouraged to report to health authorities any persons showing symptoms of acute diarrhea accompanied by vomiting or abdominal pain.
Christopher Tichu reporting there. And to financial matters, a report from the World Bank revealed that businesses and economies are performing better in their regulatory efforts, as well as public services needed to make real progress. It added that in almost all of the 50 economies assessed this year, the quality of the regulatory framework is higher than public services provided to encourage business compliance. The first edition of the World Bank report, released this Thursday, October 3, 2024, discusses the implementation gaps that harm the business climate in 50 economies across the world. The report also provides a vast set of data for 1,200 indicators for each economy, making it possible to identify areas for improvement and encourage reforms. It gauges the real conditions that businesses face in practice, highlighting considerable variations across the 50 economies studied. The report is expected to expand over the next 3 years, reaching full coverage of around 180 countries by 2026, providing a global benchmark and comparison tool.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is a guest.
Our guest on this edition of the news is Bright Kweku Bobby, a director of advocacy at the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group and one of the organizers of the 3-day protest against illegal mining in the country. He joins us from Accra, Ghana, with an update on the demonstration which entered its second day today to demand 3 key things from the government. He explains.
Thank you for having me once again. It has been very successful and very peaceful. Yesterday, we had a successful protest we marched through some of the principal streets of Accra, starting from the University of Ghana, Legon. We visited some of our colleagues in the various cells and prisons they've been remanded in. We went together with Madame Genevieve Patterson of the Amnesty International representative in Ghana. She has been intervening on our part to secure the release of our colleagues who have been detained. So far, we've had a meeting with the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service together with the Office of the Attorney General. Yesterday, he presented a petition to the Office of the Attorney General to push him to release our colleagues because he is the chief prosecutor. He is the one prosecuting them. He is the one asking the court to remand them. So we presented a petition to his office. He was not available to receive our petition, but his deputy was there. So he received the petition on behalf of his boss, the Attorney General. Then today, we started again. We've marched through some of the principal streets. As I'm speaking to you right now, we are at the office of the Forestry Commission to present a petition to them as well. Because Forestry Commission, they are the ones mandated to secure our forest reserve, especially the biodiversity areas. But they have also been complicit in this galamsey or illegal mining. They've allowed galamseys invade our forest and to destroy our forest.
At least you've succeeded so far on day 1 and 2 to engage the Ghana Police Service, the Office of the Attorney General, and of course a visit to the Forestry Ministry.
Commission.
But one of the demands also is to have the government declare a state of emergency on illegal mining. And should that be done anytime soon, it means that the shortcomings that the Ministry of Forestry is facing, the lack of equipment and the shortage of manpower will be dealt with. Is that your belief?
Well, not entirely, because government cannot do this overnight. We see it as a deliberate attempt on the part of government to weaken the Forestry Commission. So in order to allow their people, who are mostly the party financiers, to engage in this illegal act in the forest reserves. So it's deliberate, but we are trying to see what we can do to resource the Forestry Commission. If government will not do it, we will see what we can do to resource them in order to protect our forest reserves.
And what are these measures that you are considering? That is the coalition of NGOs on the front line of this campaign to stop illegal mining in Ghana.
We are looking at providing training and then providing them with resources. They complain of lack of resources like vehicles to patrol the forest, sophisticated arms and ammunition to guard the forest. And government is saying they don't have the financial resources to equip them. So we, a coalition of NGOs, we are looking at how we can mobilize resources to provide them with this equipment for them to secure our forest reserves.
One very essence of this 3-day protest currently ongoing is to demand the release of at least 39 democracy or protesters arrested over the same issue that you are protesting against today. Is there any chance that they'll be released by the end of Saturday, which marks the end of the 3-day protest? Or should that not happen, what is the next line of action?
Yes, after our meeting with the Attorney General yesterday, they assured us that in the next appearance in court, which is going to be on the 7th of this month, they are not going to oppose any application for bail by our lawyers. So whether they are giving bail on the 7th of this month or not, well, we have filed a suit against them, the government of Ghana, the Attorney General, and then the IGP for these violations.
That was Bright Kwekwe Bobby, Director of Advocacy at the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group. Up next is Sports News with Sankule Janko.
Hello out there, a warm welcome and thank you for joining us. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced a date for the draw of the African Nations Championship 2024 qualifiers. The draw has been scheduled on Wednesday, 9 October 2024. It will be conducted at the CAF headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will host the tournament between 1 to 28 February 2025. Ahead of the finals, 2 rounds of qualifiers will take place on a home and away basis. The first round of qualifiers will be played on the weekend of 25 to 27 October and 1 to 3 November 2024, with the second round confirmed for 20 to 22 December and 27 to 29 December 2024. The competition since its inception in 2009 has been an exceptional platform for showcasing the talent and quality of African footballers based in the continent. Algeria played host to the last edition of the tournament, which drew thousands of supporters, millions of global audiences and digital engagement as a result of the rising popularity and quality of the tournament, according to CAF official website. This has also been supported by CAF's 60% increase in the tournament's prize money that sees the winners walking away with $2 million. Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania's hosting of the competition also serves as an opportunity for the three nations to fine-tune their preparations for the hosting of the CAF Africa Cup of Nations 2027. And Senegal international Pape Matar Sarr scored as he helped his Tottenham Hotspur side to win 2-1 over Ferencváros. And that's it for sports. It's back to you.
Sponsors brought to you by Sankule Janko. And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Mustafa Sek for the technical assistance. Do interact with us via social media platforms: X, Instagram at WADR News, on Facebook, WADR English Service, and stream live on WADR.org. Coming up at the top of the hour of 1 p.m. is the second edition of our comprehensive news package, Info Shevu. I'm Abdullahi Hassan. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, Newmi FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County.